Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorton. I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today. If you want to call in, 323-870-3857. Let's get started with Tuesday. Beeb, I love Tuesday fights. I love morning fights, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't get enough of them, and especially big fights. How often do we get to say that, man, we go to, wake up at 7 or whatever, the fight's on. It's just on, man. I love it. I can't tell you how much I love it because it starts your morning. You know, you're watching it. It starts your morning. You're at work. Now you're ready and primed for the day after the fight. It's awesome. I love it. I love those fights. Inoue versus TJ Doheny on ESPN+. Inoue beats Doheny via 7th round TKO. Beeb, this was a good fight. I thought that Doheny really kind of came to fight. He was a tough guy. You could tell he was a veteran. He's been in there for a minute, so he knew what he was doing. He knew how to, quell everything down and everything and, put a good defense up for a little while. Inoue was catching him just about every round, though, with some big shots. And I think I gave Doheny the 3rd round. I think that was it.
Yeah, he won 1 round. That's it.
Yeah, that was it, man. And he was trying, but I'll tell you what, man, it was just one of those things, man, where I'm watching, I'm like, oh, man, it's just a matter of time. Well, the matter of time came in about the 7th round where it was a series of body shots, just a flurry to the body, and it looked like it didn't look like many of them really connected, but it did look like one connected. Doheny puts his hand up, like timeout.
It's like, fuck this.
Yeah,
and he's like, he hit him so hard in the body, and he twists his body it's almost like it's almost like he smacked one of his fucking. His liver went fucking to the back of his fucking spine or some shit because he's like this, and I'm like, I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
No, he was like, nope, just put his glove up, and then the referee jumped in and he walked a few steps. All of a sudden, he just dropped. I was like, what? Yeah, and then he said it was, and then he kind of limped back. You saw him limping or whatever. Yeah. So they were saying it's a knee, but it was clearly his back. I mean, he was pointing to his back. He was holding his back. I don't know why Bradley said it was his knee because he's an idiot,
Bradley he's getting worse and worse.
He's bad.
He's like,
bad.
Inoue is carrying Doheny. Bradley, what's the matter?
Oh,
what did you have the under? What are you mad because you had the under or something? What do you mean he's
what does that even mean? Yeah, what do you mean he's carrying? He's not carrying. Are you watching the fight? Tough. Really, are you watching the fight?
I mean, a 7th round knockout is still nothing to sneeze at, Bradley. What did you want him to knock him out in 2 rounds? Would you have the under?
Right.
What's wrong with you?
He was carrying Doheny. That was I had that in my notes too. Because I'm like, are you serious? He's got to be the worst announcer, period, right? They've got to get rid of him. They got to get rid of him.
I like Bradley as a person and as a fighter.
I don't really care.
I know you don't like him at all. You don't like him at all. If you've seen him, if you were at an event and you saw him and he put his hand out, you would be like, you push it away. I know you don't like him.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him.
You
know how I am.
You either like someone or you don't like him. There's no middle ground with you.
No, there's not.
Robbie's gone, but go ahead.
That's why Robbie. What's wrong with you? So he puts up his hand. He walks a few paces. It was like Kill Bill when the guy walked a little bit and just fell over dead.
What up, man? What up?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not getting hit like this again.
Listen, because it didn't look like he looked like he was just covering up, taking those shots. I don't know if a muscle pulled in his back, which is entirely possible. You don't know. But I mean, listen, all I know is that you didn't make it out of the 7th round. So he's a tough guy. Listen, Doheny's a tough guy. And he definitely earned his shot against Inoue. And he made the most of it when he went in there. He has got nothing to hold his head about because he was in there and he fought a good fight, man. He really did. He caught Inoue. He was catching Inoue a few times. But they did say, that I guess, what was it? Inoue was pulling out straight back.
Yeah.
Was it Bradley who said that? Somebody said that he was pulling out straight back or something like that.
He's got to
Anyway,
find something wrong. I mean,
he's got to find something else to do is what he needs to do. Man, I'll tell you though, it's he looked good. I thought both guys, I thought Doheny did a good job. I thought Inoue looked really good. And Inoue had a lot of respect for him in those earlier rounds. If you notice, he wasn't just throwing caution to the wind and start bombing. You know, he went out there. That's a thing that I think you have to recognize about Inoue. He can outbox you and he can also knock you out. You know what I mean? He can beat you. He's got multiple ways to beat you.
he's methodical too. He
Yeah.
doesn't rush the offense.
No, and that's what's more impressive is that he doesn't rush it.
Yeah.
You know, he knows he has power, but he also knows maybe these are bigger guys right now. You know what I mean? And he is very methodical. Such a good boxer too.
Yeah.
I mean, and he can beat you just with his boxing alone. You know.
So, let me ask you a real question, just to switch gears a little bit about Inoue, because we had this discussion on the roundtable, and I'd just love to hear your opinion on it. One of the topics that we talked about was, I guess, because Arum wants to bring him back to America. He wants him to fight, I think, in Vegas. And some people were against it on the panel. They were like, oh, he makes enough money in Japan. Why does he have to come over here? And I believe that he has that type of swagger about him, that aura about him, that personality about him, even though he doesn't speak English. Pacquiao didn't speak English too when he first came over here, and he kind of learned as he spent more time over here. Not that that's a prerequisite to have to come over here and fight, but I'm of the opinion where he could probably cross over like Manny Pacquiao did over here, because a lot of the Hispanic boxing fans, and it was Pacquiao was in Vegas fighting in California, Vegas a lot. He was really big, becoming big in the West Coast because he was training Freddie Roach in California in the wild card. I'm of the belief that Inoue could possibly cross over and do not something exactly like Manny Pacquiao, but a similar thing to Manny Pacquiao, where he can have some of that crossover appeal, sort of like in the same way that Manny Pacquiao did. What's your opinion on that?
His heart's in Japan. You know what I mean? And his
Gotcha.
trainers are in Japan.
Gotcha.
And that's where he is. You know, he could absolutely have that crossover. They love him over there. I mean, they really do. He's a like a rock star status over there, man. And there's no reason to think that he can't come here and do the same thing. I mean, I think people would really like him over here. I really do. But you know, it's a lot. You know, you're talking about upending his people, you know, his corner, his training, his everything, and putting it over here, you know, to make that transformation, that type of transformation you're talking about. That's what he would have to do.
I'm not saying he has to set up shop over here. I'm saying if he came over here and fought over here periodically, or even trained over there, and then the 2 weeks before the fight, just come over and get acclimated, whatever.
I think it's, and I know what you're talking about, but I think it's a different thing. If you're talking about like Manny Pacquiao, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about getting him in his, like, you know, taking Inoue and trying to do the same thing and making that global phenomenon, right? Yeah. And that global guy, he has to move here.
Gotcha. Okay.
He has to move here, or at least maintain a dual residence. So he has to be shown here.
Yeah.
He has to learn the language a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be tough, but it's doable for sure. Doable.
Gotcha.
And he can be that guy. But the thing is, you know, you got to just ask yourself, does he want to be that guy?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's a hero in Japan. And like, if you're a hero in the United States, do you care if you go over to Britain and be a hero there? No, you know, I wouldn't, because this is my home, you know, and I think that's the same thing. I don't see him as the type of person to do that. I mean, you know, hopefully I'm wrong. I would love to see it happen.
Well, because Arum says he's bringing him over here for his next fight. So,
well, and that's another thing too. Like,
who's it going to be against? I'm curious.
Yeah, that's what I was curious too. But there, you know, he said they want to come to the U.S. for another fight or whatever. But like, you know, who's he gonna? You got to put him up against somebody, you know, realistically, like a good fighter. Yeah. You know, listen, Nassim, when he came over here, had Kevin Kelly. That was a great fight.
It was,
you know, and he was a good fighter. So you got to put him up against somebody who they're going to want to see, who actually has a chance, who may have a shot here.
Gotcha.
Right. I thought the Pantera fight would have been great here. You know, I really do. Because everybody, you know, a lot of people know Luis Neri here. I don't know about in Japan, and it was a really good fight in Japan too. So I mean, this guy could be. I mean, you're really looking at what could be the next global star. I don't think he will, just based on what I'm seeing. And I wonder how his endorsements are over there.
Oh, it must be great.
It's got to be, right? It's got to be. He's got to be huge with endorsements over there.
It must be crazy over there.
But if he gets say he gets a Nike, if he gets one of those endorsements, or he gets a big endorsement where he can come over here and make that trail in here, that would work too. What was it? Joshua at the time, back when he was became heavyweight champion, he was like number 10 in the world in endorsements.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's another one that's like,
he still does very well with endorsements.
Oh, for sure.
When you're that big of an athlete, like you're getting free cars, free watches, free clothes.
Yeah.
It's amazing, bro. Like they have like those meal kits, like those, we used to have that sponsor, Mega Fit Meals, but certain athletes will just get those meals for free.
Oh yeah, Jay Cutler was one of them, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was getting the meals for free.
Yeah,
he was getting the meals for free.
Yeah.
I tried to get a deal like that, man, but I wasn't big enough, man.
Yeah, you and I are no Jay Cutler, I'll tell you that.
My deal was I got the meals half price. I couldn't get them for free.
I love it. You ever see Jay Cutler like on the off season?
Yeah,
where he puts on weight and everything. He still doesn't look fat. I mean, he still looks big,
that guy couldn't get fat even if he tried, man. Because once you put on that much muscle.
Yeah,
the muscle is just burning
the fat,
the
right?
calories.
Yeah, it just burns everything. It takes so much.
Burns everything. Your metabolism becomes like a furnace at that point.
That's crazy.
See this guy eating pounds of steak and shit.
He said he would eat like 4 pounds of meat a day.
Funny too, because
he would buy a whole cow at a time, like twice a year. Think about that, twice a year.
It's funny too, because you say to yourself, yeah, I wish I could eat whatever I like, eat as much as I want. And if I had a metabolism like that, I would love it. But the thing is, when you start eating like that all the time, you start to not like eating because you're eating so much, but eating becomes a chore.
The amount of food that they have to eat.
Yeah, it becomes a chore.
It's crazy. I mean, it really is. You ever see those shows like, what was it, 600 Pound Life or whatever? And you see like all these guys and how much they're eating. Yeah. Dude, I'm for real. It's nothing compared to what they have to eat on a daily basis.
Sometimes
I'll
go
nuts. So much calories, man.
Sometimes I'll go nuts and I go to the buffet or I'll go to a restaurant. And I just have at it. And then after I do it,
I'm nowhere near.
No, but after I do it, I'm like, after I do it, like I'm like, you don't have the craving to do it again. You know what I mean? Like you hear like people who work at like Dunkin' Donuts and stuff, they can eat as many donuts as they want. They start hating donuts.
Well, for sure.
And I could never envision in my life ever hating donuts. Donuts are beautiful. They're almost as good as my honey. Well, I'm not going to get that far, but donuts are beautiful.
I'll tell you, man, it is. It's nuts. How much? Oh my God! Think of that. 2 sides of beef. He buys 2 cows a year.
You see him on his grill. He's on his grill cooking 2 pounds of chicken and stuff. Like he's like fucking eating the whole thing.
Like it's 10:15. I got to eat again. What?
He set their alarm clock. They wake up at like 2 a.m. so they can get like 9 meals in a day. It's like they have to keep eating.
Can you imagine that, waking up out of a dead sleep so you could eat some chicken?
Ronnie Coleman used to buy like a rotisserie chicken. And he used to eat the whole thing. And he used to eat 2 hamburger patties, and they used to eat fries with it. Like fries, it's like the amount of food these guys eat. It's insane.
And they look like cartoon characters. They look like real life cartoon characters. Nuts, man. Nuts. Gavin's Ghost brought up a real good point. Manny already had established dance partners too.
He had rivals too. Manny did have rivals, and Inoue doesn't have any rivals.
No. And the biggest fight right now for Inoue is in Japan with Nakatani. It's the other Japanese guy. So yeah, man, it's going to be difficult, man. It's difficult even to come in and make those inroads. If you think about Floyd Mayweather, right? Floyd Mayweather was never a household name. He was a household name to us. And he was never like Oscar De La Hoya either, until he went on Dancing with the Stars. And that took his fame to another level, because people then who didn't know boxing saw him.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, yeah, that's the guy from Dances with the Stars.
People forget that he didn't really become big until he was 31 years old.
Yeah, it took him that
A
long.
good 10 years.
Oh, for sure.
Good 10 years.
On top of all the talent he had.
Exactly.
He didn't get famous until he was definitely Money Mayweather, not Pretty Boy.
Correct.
You know. And but Oscar De La Hoya, Sugar Ray Leonard, they all had the endorsements right away, man. Yeah. And that's how they got bigger too. You know, that and they were really good, you know. So yeah, the Nakatani fight, I can't imagine takes place here.
No, no way.
No way. That's just stupid. All right. That'd be like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fighting here in New York or something.
Yes. Would it make sense?
Right. Or like Adrian Bronner and Sean Porter. It's like if they fought in Vegas instead of Cincinnati, you know, or somewhere in Ohio. That would be really dumb, wouldn't it? I think that was really dumb, by the way. Anyway.
You claim those guys, not me.
I claim one of the guys, not both. Saying. Okay. All right. So I would assume later next year he'll fight Nakatani in Japan after his fight in the U.S. That's just what I would say.
That has to happen.
Yeah,
I would think anyways.
So yeah, I believe so. Some other. What was the other action yesterday? Was this Redkach and Zepeda, right?
Zepeda, yeah, and that was
second
painful.
round. Yeah,
that was painful to watch.
Man, second round TKO. We knocked him down like 3 times. I didn't even see the fight, man, but I heard about it and I was like,
poor Redkach, man. I mean,
he's been around forever, man, and
both guys
have been around forever.
Yeah, they're on the other side of it, but Redkach, man, oh, poor guy.
That's got to be tough, man, right?
Yeah.
Because again, we talked about this. Like, I think you and I talked about this last week. Like, you fight for money. You don't fight for the love of it. You just don't. Because if you know, and you may like it, but as long as you're getting paid and everything like that, everything is good. But when you're like past your prime and you're still fighting, because you know that you're not as good as you were.
Yeah.
You do know this.
Whether you love it or not, right? The window is very small.
You'll know this better than anybody. And you can say that, you know, when you see an older guy and saying, hey, I'm in better shape now than when I was in 25 or something like that, you're lying.
No.
You're lying. You don't get better with age. You just don't.
You get smarter. You get smarter.
Here's
the misconception. When you're younger, you're invincible and you're beating the shit out of your body.
Yeah.
And while you're beating the shit out of your body, sometimes you say to yourself, wow, like, you know, I'm not where I want to be. And then you get older and you get smarter and you're not beating the shit out of your body anymore. And you're feeling better because you're not beating the shit out of your body because you got smarter, you're eating better, you're more health conscious. And so if you took your brain at where you are now and put it in that body where that was then,
right,
then that would be, an unbeatable combination.
Right.
So, okay, I understand you get smarter. So instead of going out on a concrete street and running 10 miles, you're on a treadmill. So you're not killing your joints, or you're swimming in a pool. So you got smarter and you think your body can still do what it did back then. But this got better, but this does not get better. I mean,
it gets easier. Like I said, if you're running on like the treadmill versus concrete, or you're getting, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't translate the same.
You got smarter,
but
it's
not the same.
You've learned how to extend yourself, your career, because of your, being more intelligent with how you do things.
Right.
That's fine. But again, your body's not better physically than it was back then. Just can't ever be that way.
No, it's not. Like I said, man, you don't get better with it. And even George Foreman, the great George Foreman, he had a better, did he have a better run the second time out? I don't know. I guess, he was 40, won the world title and everything. I get that. But he wasn't a better fighter. He wasn't, his power was there.
One thing you can say as he got older, big difference, right? And you're 100% correct. I'm not disputing what you're saying. But if you notice the second run, the stamina was better for one reason and one reason only. He was more relaxed. He was more calm.
Yes.
He was more wound up when he was younger. And he was like,
watch him in those fights. Yeah.
Watch him in the second run. He's like, he was stone. He's fighting Alex Stewart, and his friggin' eyes look like friggin' softballs, right?
Right.
But he was poker face. Michael Moore, his face was all
Same
smashed up, but he was poker face. Like he was no anxious, no discomfort. I mean, obviously he was probably hurt, but he was just relaxed. He didn't let the moment get to him.
That's the thing. But that's the key to a lot of sports, and especially this one. It's the key to life, right?
When you walk down the street, right, and a young kid drives by in a car, right, and says, "Hey, fuck you," you're like, whatever. When you're like in your 20s, you're running after that guy. Like, what? What are you saying? Like, you just change when you get older. You don't care. Someone cuts you in line at the supermarket, like you're like, whatever.
I'll be here for a while anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I got nothing to do.
Right. What am I going
to do? Couch and watch some TV anyways. You can fucking you get that. Go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, you just change. You get older.
That's it, man. And that's the thing, man. And you're right. It's just to relax. He was more relaxed, and that's the thing a lot of people don't get. You don't get it when you're young. You don't, because you can't. It's hard to relax when all this is going on, you know. But the older you get, you're right. It just comes natural when you get older.
What did Mickey say to Rocky? You got civilized.
That's never good. Not in the fight game. That's never good, man.
You're gonna have a little bit of a mean streak in you.
Look at Pacquiao when he changed his ways and everything. Like, he stopped going to cockfights, stopped drinking. Was never the same fighter. Just it is what it is,
Andre
man.
Ward never really lost that mean streak to him. And
Andre Ward was always
never lost that mean streak.
Yeah, he was always
in the ring. Yeah, he was a mean guy.
You know, and you could tell in his second fight with what's his name?
Kovalev. Yeah, he went after him.
He was mean.
He went after him.
He was mean. Yeah.
He chopped him down.
Yeah.
He chopped him down. He wasn't letting up on him.
That was rough, man. That was a beating. That was a beating. And that was it for this week's action. But we got it next week, September 14th on Prime Video pay-per-view. Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga, 12 rounds for Alvarez, undisputed super middleweight championship. Arislandi Lara versus Danny Garcia in the co-main for Lara's WBA super middleweight title. Danny Garcia does not deserve a title shot in any way, shape, or form. This drives me nuts that this fight is actually happening.
I don't think he's going to win.
No, I don't think he's going to win either.
I think Lara's going to beat him.
I think so, too.
Regardless of the age.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're both up there now. How old is Garcia?
He's getting up there, too.
Because he hasn't fought in what?
He hasn't been active either.
No.
So
no, not at all. And at least Arislandi's been active somewhat.
More so than him, anyways.
Right. Not too much more. Caleb Plant versus Trevor McCumbee. 12 rounds for the vacant WBA interim super middleweight title. Stephen Fulton versus Carlos Castro. And your boy, Raleigh Romero versus Manuel James.
Shout out to Raleigh Romero, man. He
fights.
Keeps getting fights.
And you know what? Let's say what you want to say about him.
Let him make that money.
He has good nights. He has bad nights. But you know what? He always comes to fight. He always does his best. He never throws it in. You may not like his personality. You may not like him. But every time he steps in there, he gives it what he has.
I actually think he's funny, but a lot of people don't like him.
No, a lot of people don't like him at all.
Going to what we said earlier, man, we live in a hypersensitive world where people you can't say things anymore. People take everything too seriously. And it's like,
geez, I'll tell you what, man. And then after that, September 20th, what do we got? Jaime Munguia versus Eric Bazinian on ESPN Plus. Yeah,
we're all looking
forward to that. Now check this out. So September 14th, let's see here. Yeah, September 14th, they also have a UFC card at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Same night, same time, everything, man. And from what I get, they're like 1,800, still like 1,800 tickets available.
They're slashing prices like crazy.
They're slashing prices. You know, and I went on there to look because me and Antonio were looking at it, and I'm like, wow, that would be really cool to go to. Because it's probably a one-time thing because it probably costs a lot of money to put it on there.
Yeah.
It's part of Riyadh season. They got that Spear, which is like, man, I think we got to get out there at some point, right?
Sure.
I mean, that looks pretty cool, you know. they have all this stuff. And so I was like, well, let me look at some tickets. Let me just see. I just dip your toe in the wall. Let me see what's up here, see if we can make maybe something happen. I don't know. I look at them tickets, $3,000,
No,
$2,000.
I heard it down to 800 though, Eric. Some of them are 800 now.
800.
Even that's still too much, though.
Yeah, it's too much.
Of course it is.
800 for that card.
If Lease found out you spent $1,600 for 2 tickets, you want to talk about, you want to be sleeping on the couch, you would be in the garage.
I'd be in Boston, is what I'd be. I'd be at the Bede's house, sleeping on his couch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's what would happen, man. Your brother would be kicking me out in the mornings because he's got stuff to do.
Right.
Gosh. $800. That was the cheap one. Is like they were slashing prices. They're down now to 800. 800.
Yeah.
For that card.
And again,
800.
I don't
really
nothing. Yeah. Again, I'm a casual MMA fan, UFC fan, and nothing really jumps out at me on that card.
No, and listen, man. I like
it's not a
Sugar
horrible
Sean
card,
and
but
everything,
it's
man.
not great.
It's not great. It's not an $800 ticket card,
man. Like if this is supposed to be like something that's going to be competing with Canelo, I don't think you're going to win this battle.
I'm shocked. I really am. I'm shocked that it's not. I mean, they are losing money because of this Canelo fight. And I kind of like it. I don't mind it, man. I thought the UFC was going to wipe it up. I thought the UFC was going to wipe it up. Turkey Al Sheikh's over there and everything like that.
I warned you about it. You didn't want to listen.
I didn't want to listen at all. But listen, man, Canelo's a big deal. They got to start. If you're going to put something in it, you better put John Jones up there. One of your best guys, you know what I mean? Put him up there against it. But yeah, we'll see how they do on pay-per-views and stuff like that. I mean, I hope pay-per-views for both of them tank, because I just don't like the pay-per-view model. You know me.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, it's been really interesting though to like watch the ticket prices for that. And then when I saw them, I was like, that's just nuts. That arena holds about 20,000 too. The Sphere holds about 20,000 people.
Yeah.
So like, man, I don't know. I don't get it, man. Gavin's Go says, pure fact, Turkey is promoting UFC, which he is this time. And he says, let them flop. That's right. Let them flop. King KO says it is Canelo fight week. And I know you guys are mad. There you go. All right. We don't hate Canelo. Nobody hates Canelo.
I don't hate Canelo. I'm a big fan of Canelo, man.
Indifferent, man. Yeah, I like it.
I'm ready to kiss the ring like you guys want me to. I'll do it. I can't beat City Hall. Can't fight City Hall. You can't beat him. I might as well join him.
Let me see. If you can see, yeah, right here. See that picture right there? That's Canelo and Triple G. I don't hate him. Don't hate him. The other one is, of course, Chavez and Meldrick Taylor. But listen, man, it is what it is. We don't mind Canelo. I like him.
I don't mind Canelo. I'm with you guys. He can do whatever he wants.
But now the fight doctor.
Yeah, the fight doctor.
Not such a big Canelo fan. Canelo is a duck and a disgrace. How dare you? How dare you? That's Canelo. What's the matter with you? Beeb, is there any scenario, period, that Berlanga wins?
If Canelo Alvarez is walking to the ring and someone throws a brick at him and knocks him out,
sure,
then I think, well, even then he couldn't win because the bell didn't ring yet. So no, there's no way he can win.
No,
there's no way.
No way. No.
I'm trying to. Unless the bell rings and Canelo there's like a dead spot in the ring and Canelo steps into it and he blows his ACL. Yeah. But even then he could still win a decision. So no, there's no way.
No way. Warrior Way said Oscar said in a thong video he will attend the UFC card.
He doesn't wear a thong to the UFC card.
Kind of hope he does, just see what happens, Put him behind bars, man. Kadali Bodiang, Cincinnati is trash. How dare you disrespect the Queen City? How dare you?
No one in the chat ever says Boston is trash because they know it's the city of champions.
Because Boston is easily forgettable. That's why.
17 Boston NBA championships.
Easily
World
forgettable.
Series.
Your
Stanley
best player
Cup champions.
came from the Midwest. Your best
Tom
player
Brady
Came
Tom
from the Midwest.
Brady.
From the Midwest. Where's Tom Brady from? What school? Michigan.
He's got real estate out here, man.
Michigan.
Even LeBron James is proud owner of the Boston Red Sox. He knows what's up.
Is he really? Yeah, he is, isn't he?
He's a minority owner of the Red Sox.
That's insane. How much they get? Like these guys
He
get
hates
paid
Boston
now.
too. He said
Does
Boston
he really?
is one of
Why?
the guy. He doesn't like it because when he used to come here, with the Cavaliers and with Miami, the fans used to give him shit. He doesn't like us.
Well, what does he think? They're gonna like worship him everywhere he goes? He's a visitor. Of course they're gonna give him crap.
I said a lot of derogatory things about this city that I wish I don't even want to repeat.
Well, if LeBron said them, I'm sure they're valid.
Oh, that's not true. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, man. This is a legendary city.
From Boston.
All right, guys. If you like what we're doing, man, give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe. And it really helps us out, man. It really does. We're not asking you. We're not out here with a tin cup. We're just asking you to hit a couple buttons. That's all it is. I disrespect the Bengals. Nothing against the city. Okay, well that's better. That's better because I disrespected the Bengals too today. So,
Eric, you have the luxury of, if you want to, can you root for the Cleveland Browns? Who's your team? Cincinnati Bengals or Cleveland
my cousin,
Browns?
I tell you, one of my cousins is a real big Browns fan, and a lot of my in-laws or whatever, like my cousins on that on Lisa's side or whatever, they're big Browns fans too because they came up from that, from like Northern Ohio and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't mind the Browns. Like a lot of people in Cincinnati hate Cleveland, but I mean, to me, they're like, I don't root for them when they play us, but like if they went to the playoffs, I root for them.
Gotcha.
I'll root for Cleveland. Yeah, for sure, man. It's like Ohio State Buckeyes.
Cool.
Are
You have two football teams.
We got 2 football teams. Well, look at Los Angeles. What they got,
I
like
know.
4 of them or something stupid? Like,
Yeah,
what
they're
is
so
this?
big, right? They got,
Like,
what do they got?
they moved the Rams,
the Raiders,
yeah.
San Francisco 49ers, San Diego Chargers.
Aren't they the LA Rams again? They're the LA Rams,
Yeah,
right?
probably the LA Rams. I see how I'm
That's what I don't understand.
not a-
They moved them out of LA to St. Louis because LA wasn't selling. Then they moved them back to LA, and they weren't selling out or anything. And there's I don't understand that.
Crazy.
I don't get it, man. Don't get it. All right. So, Beeb, is there any scenario here where Berlanga wins that fight? No, nothing. For real, nothing.
I can't see it.
16 first-round knockouts. Do you think that he can hurt Canelo? Do you think he's got the power to hurt Canelo?
I don't think he's gonna hurt Canelo significantly. Munguia couldn't do it. I think Munguia is a better fighter than Berlanga. I would pick Munguia over to beat Berlanga.
Yeah, he is a better fighter at this point.
Yeah.
He's a better fighter at this point.
I would say that.
Berlanga just never went that extra level. You know what I mean? He was never a upper echelon fighter. He won the title. I get that, but he was never the main guy. You know what I mean?
Now,
he was always beatable, I thought.
Montero made some great points about why he thinks the fight will go the distance, and he actually persuaded me to believe that as well. He convinced me that fight's probably going to go the distance.
You know what? Shockingly enough, I'm watching. I'm thinking about this fight this afternoon, and I'm like, is there any? I don't see Berlanga beating him. I just don't.
No, I don't see him beating him.
He doesn't have. He's just his skill level isn't even close. You know what I mean? His skill level's nowhere close to Canelo's, and I don't care. I know Canelo's on the dark side. He's kind of past that midway point, kind of sailing in,
True.
but he's still nowhere near Canelo's experience, anywhere Canelo's skill level, nothing. He's going to have nothing for Canelo.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of the reason why everybody's frustrated with this. Now he's been great. Now listen, Berlanga has been the one selling this fight, right? He's been the one selling this fight. You take him in that the press conferences and stuff. He's been the one talking. He's been the one throwing down the disrespect and this and that and blah, blah, blah. He's been the one selling this fight. So he's generated some good interest. But that's all it is. Because he's not going to be able to match Canelo's skill for skill. He just won't. I don't even know that he has the power to really hurt Canelo.
When we do these
Go ahead.
We do these breakdowns, right? Like with Munguia, we said that this guy brings a lot of volume, right? We said this guy has great stamina. We said this guy's got a great chin. He's big. He's strong. He's going to be hard to get out of there, right? We can't even. There's no bright spots for like what can we say about Berlanga? Like we could at least point to some things that would make at least the fight somewhat interesting for against Canelo for Munguia. There's nothing I can do here to sell this fight to the public as this could be a good fight. I can't do it.
No, not to mention, by the way, all of this, all right, is we're looking at it. This is the best guy you've ever fought. There's been no step up. There's been no stepping stone to get to this point. This is the best guy you will face, period. You've ever faced.
Munguia had some decent opponents on his way up the ladder.
Oh, for sure he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he fought some really good guys. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he definitely earned the shot more so than Berlanga did.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, there's not much, we're looking at, we look at the box rec right now of Berlanga, and it's not that impressive. I mean, Padraig McCrory was the last guy he fought.
That's right.
Jason Quigley, decision. Romer Angulo, decision. Steve Rolls, decision. Yeah, I mean, he had a string of knockouts. Then he had a string of decisions. His last fight was a KO against Padraig McCrory. I mean, come on. How did he actually get this fight? You know what I mean?
Look what Gennady Golovkin did to Steve Rolls.
Right.
And then Berlanga got a
decision.
He didn't even get the same version of Steve Rolls that Golovkin did, and he couldn't get him out.
No.
No.
Remy, thank you so much. He said he gifted 1 Ringside Reporter Live membership. Thank you, man.
You, sir.
Appreciate that. That's awesome, man. Yeah, so, and Fight Doctor says Alvarez needs to retire. Listen, I'll be honest. I don't hate that. I don't mind it because I'd rather see him retire than fight this. You know what I mean?
I think that Crawford fight, I think you may be right. I think that Crawford fight could be next.
You think so, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, who said that? Who was the one that came up with the Crawford fight?
Said it.
That was me. Were you sure?
Because now
I don't like to take credit for stuff I didn't do, right?
Turkey Al Sheikh is saying like the only fight that Crawford really wants is that Canelo fight. I think Crawford's looking for the exit.
Absolutely, he's looking for the exit.
And I don't hate that for him. He's 36 years old. He's done a lot of things.
Everybody.
A beautiful family. Maybe he wants to go home and relax with his family.
Listen, man.
Why not have this one last fight as the swan song?
He's fought everyone.
Does he really want to, extend himself to try to unify this junior middleweight division against these young guns?
Mm-hmm.
Madrimov, I thought he won the fight, but I thought it was a close fight. It was a competitive fight. Tim Tszyu, it's another tough fight for him. So all these fights at junior middleweight, that are there, right?
Yeah.
It's, you got Virgil Ortiz, right? You got Bohachuk. All these guys are tough outs, right? And you're not going to nowhere near make the money against these guys that you're going to make against Canelo.
No.
So you might as well go out with a bang here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you're right. I mean, where else is he going to make that kind of money? He can't.
Yeah.
That's it. He can't make that money anywhere else. Bud King KO says Bud has a weak resume. Look, man, I get it that you like Canelo and you don't like Crawford. Dude, come on, man. You cannot say he has a weak. I mean, you got the right to say it, but listen,
he did. He fought all the guys he could fight.
Even Fight Doctor says that's a bit unfair. All right. I mean, he's fought everybody. Who has he not fought? He fought everybody.
Beat Porter. He beat Spence.
And not only did he just he beat the dog snot out of these guys.
Yeah.
He really did. Those fights, the only close fight he's had, his last fight against Madrimov, who many consider the best in that division.
Best in that division.
Not a big name, but a solid fighter.
He was a good fighter.
Yeah.
And we said that was going to go the distance, and we said that was going to be a tough fight, and we also said don't expect this to be a blowout.
Yeah.
So,
Warrior Way says, I think Bud ought to try undisputed 154. For what? I mean, you could. I mean, listen, you could. And I wouldn't hate that. But again, the only fight he's interested in is Canelo, and he's made that abundantly clear.
Did make that clear, yeah.
And I think after this Saturday, after this, it's with Canelo reaching out to Turkey Al-Sheikh, kind of apologizing and saying, man, I didn't mean to disrespect you or anything like that. It was just, I'm in tune for this fight. And I think that's fair. And I think he has to understand. I think both sides have to understand, like, when he's got a fight in front of you, I don't want to talk about
the same thing. It's the same thing.
This isn't a tune-up.
It was the same thing with the Tim Tszyu situation, bro. Like, he's got to fight for a title coming up. And I think what month is it? October or something like that?
Yeah.
It's like, why do you want this guy to wait till February? He's already been out with the injury to his head, to his scalp. He wants to get back in there. This is a guy who doesn't like being on the shelf, doesn't like having long bouts of inactivity. That's not what he likes to do. That's not his MO. That's not his style. So why would you try to upset the apple cart and screw up his routine of being active and staying busy?
Right. Remy says people believe Bud is avoiding Boots. Is he? And then Gavin's Ghost can say, so he can say he legitimately fought everybody. This is tricky because people believe he's avoiding Boots. Is he? Yes, of course he is. Now, is he avoiding Boots because he doesn't want to get beat? No, he's avoiding Boots because he wants a big payday. That's it. I mean, that's the thing. He's not avoiding Boots because it's a tough fight. He just had a tough fight, right? He's not avoiding him because it's a tough fight. He's avoiding him because Boots is not a big name. He can't make as much money. Think about it. Who's he going to make more money with, Canelo or Boots?
Well, not only that, he moved up to 154. Boots wants to pursue the fight to move up to 154.
Right.
That's it.
Which we think Boots is going to move up to 154 also. And I think it's a crime. Like I said, man, Boots hasn't gotten a big fight yet. And, I'd have to look to his manager and stuff like that. He hasn't had a big marquee fight yet.
No,
he hasn't. And he should have, and I'll always say it, man. You talked about this beforehand. We were talking about boxing managers and stuff like that. Do they know what they're doing? Do they? I mean, some of these guys that you see, you're like, really? This is your manager? Like, come on, man. And guys two guys really stand out to me. And they're both, ironically enough, Philadelphia fighters. Boots Ennis and who was the guy, the short guy who fought Crawford? He was from Philadelphia. What's his name, guys?
What the hell's his name?
And he was so Hank Lundy. This guy, and I love Hank Lundy, man. And I tell you what, man, you talk to Hank Lundy for 5 minutes, he's awesome. I mean, he's just got that charisma about him. He's a nice guy. He's funny. He's engaging. Just a super nice guy. Why that guy never became a bigger star, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And you can only base it on one thing: his promotion, his management, everything like that. Because everything about the guy, when you talk to him, says star. And the same thing with Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis's talent in the ring says star.
Yeah.
Why he hasn't gotten a big fight, I have no idea. That, what? It's just, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks for him because he should have. He should have had that big marquee fight. And you know what? Over on the PBC side, they've had the people to give him that marquee fight. Well, you've got Danny Garcia over there. You've got all these guys.
Yeah.
All those guys over there that could have given him a marquee fight, and you didn't.
But at 147 right now, there's no more marquee fights left because all those guys went up to 154. Look at Danny Garcia. He's fighting for a middleweight title. Errol Spence.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
That he even gets that shot.
Yeah.
When was the last time Danny Garcia fought? When was that?
I can't remember. I think it was.
Let me see it. Let me see if I can bring him in here.
It's been a while, right?
It seems like it. July 30th, 2022. And so let me understand this. On July 30th, 2022, his last fight.
Was it Red Catch?
Jose Benavidez.
Oh, the Benavidez, okay.
His last fight. And then 2 years later, he gets a fight. He gets a title fight at a different weight.
Right.
What?
Then you got Errol Spence going up to 154. He's fighting for a junior middleweight title.
Who is he fighting? He's fighting Fundora?
He's supposed to be fighting Fundora.
Yeah.
So again, where does Boot? What are you going to do? Stay around. Who is Boots going to fight? Stanionis? And no disrespect to Stanionis, great fighter, but he's not a big name.
No. Now he needs to get out of PBC, is what he needs to do. He just does. Go get top rank. He's going
to fight Norman Jr. for the WBO title.
Go anywhere but PBC, because that's where people are going to die, man. Boots
is with Eddie Hearn now. He's with Matthew.
Is he with Eddie Hearn? That's right. He is with Eddie Hearn.
That's right. He's okay. Thing is now,
but now
he's got to get out of that 147-pound division because there's nothing left from down there. Now, do you want? Here's the thing. Again, I'm not the manager. I'm not a manager. I don't play one on TV. I get it, but do you want to unify these titles at 147, or do you want to go to 154 and make some real money? What do you want to do?
That's what it is. I mean, that's going to be what it is. And he's the guy. I mean, really, like who aside from Crawford gives him a fight? So I think Crawford may beat him, but really, like, who gives Boots a fight? Boots is that good.
Yeah. He's
that good. He's that talented, man.
Sure.
He really is. Such a good fighter. So you think the Canelo Berlanga fight goes the distance?
I think it goes the distance, yeah.
I was thinking about that. I think it goes the distance too.
Yeah.
Just because based on Canelo's last few fights,
Montero broke it down perfectly. He said, you know what? These guys, when they're in there, they're not looking for always the fight that's in front of them. They're looking to fight after that. So when you're getting up there in age, you're injury prone, you've had some injuries in your career, you can win a fight by coasting. Why overextend yourself, put yourself in risk of getting injured? Why do more than you have to do to win at this stage when you're trying to get as many fights and you're closing in on the end, right? So why put yourself at risk that you really don't have to do? If you can win the fight easy and cruise, then just win the fight easy and cruise. You did it against Charlo, did it against Munguia, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what makes me think he's not going to do it again here?
And listen, man, Berlanga, he's, like I said, he's going to come forward, and I think he's going to be competitive for the first 3 rounds. And I think that's going to be it.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to get clipped. Once he gets clipped,
he's going to go in survival mode.
Get clipped.
He's going to go in survival mode.
He's going to go in survival mode because Canelo ain't going to take too many backward steps in there either, because he goes forward no matter who's in front of him. He's coming forward. Yeah.
And Canelo's the type of guy where if you leave him alone, he's going to leave you alone. He's not like, he's a counter puncher.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's not going to go out. He's not going to go hunting for you.
Right. All right. Let me bring Robert on here. 530. You're live. Robert.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Wake up.
I really feel bad for Boots Ennis. And I heard an interview with Eddie Hearn recently, and he said, as a promoter, I'm very frustrated. He said, I've made offers to all of the champions at 147, and nobody will take the offer, and nobody wants to fight him. So they are considering moving up to 154 because he cannot get a fight at 147.
So go up to 154 then.
That's what they're probably going to do. But Eddie Hearn he said, I've made legitimate offers to all the champions, and nobody wants to take the offer.
Well, let me ask you a question. And again, I'm not a manager. You're not a manager. We're not fighters. But allegedly, what they're saying is Brian Norman Jr. got offered $1.7 million to fight Boots in a unification bout, right? And he made $100,000 his last fight. So he's going to get 17 times more than what he made before. So we talked about this on the round table, and this was brought up, and I was like, I can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand it. And I was told, well, you gotta respect the manager. He knows what he's doing. Oh, if he knows what he's doing, then what's the plan? What do you do moving forward? You don't fight Boots for 1.7. What are you going to do? You're going to fight Stanionis for 200,000, which is another tough fight too. I mean, again, I'm not trying to be an asshole.
Well,
I'm not trying to micromanage here. I'm not even counting pockets. I'm trying to understand this. Can you help me understand this?
Well, Joe, I'll pick right up where you left off. Eddie talked about this in the interview I listened to. He said Ryan Norman turned down the 1.7 that we offered him because he's going to take 200,000 to fight on the undercard of Davis in November. He'd rather be in a top ranked fight than fight for another promoter. You know, he's going to stick with top rank. He said the only way I'll fight another champion is if they're with top rank.
So I guess my question is, if the 1.7 is not good enough, and you're going to get 200,000 moving forward per fight, right? So you got to fight 8 times.
Yeah.
You got to fight 8 times, or technically 8.5 times, but 8 times at least to come close to making that 1.7.
Yeah.
What happens if, for some reason, heaven forbid, you get an injury, you get a detached retina, or you blow out an ACL, or you have a career-ending injury? Then what do you do? What if someone upsets you?
Yeah,
anything can happen. So you got to fight. You got to fight 8 more times at 200,000 a pop to make that 1.7. And I brought that up on Thursday, and I was told that I'm not a manager, and I don't know what's going on or whatever. If I don't know what's going on, I want someone to educate me here. What am I missing? Someone tell me what I'm missing.
No, I totally agree with you, because it does not make any sense.
I know how to add. At least I know how to add. I can add. I could do arithmetic.
I know, but see, that's the thing that blows me away. Boots is a talented fighter. He goes in, he puts on a good show every time he fights somebody. But you've got professional boxers in his own weight class that are saying, no, I don't want no part of you. I mean, it's not like this guy is a killer. Like, he's going to kill you in the ring, for God's sake. He's a good fighter. But if you're a champion and you think you're good enough, don't you think you want to step in there and find out? I mean, isn't that part of being a professional boxer? I don't get it. I really feel bad for Boots. I hope one day he does get a big fight with somebody. Maybe Turkey can bring some attention his way. I mean, I'd love to see Boots fight somebody.
Yeah, I agree. Boxing, thank you so much. He asked Robbie a question. He says, he wants to know Robbie's stance on the border.
Just stance on the border, Robbie.
Look, I live in a border state. I don't like all the illegals that are able to come in basically unchecked. I do think that we need some kind of
you talking about like the Canadians that are coming down?
I mean, I feel bad for I feel bad for the people that actually work on the border, and they can't really do much. But our political climate is such a mess, I don't know if it'll ever be fixed.
There you go. All right. That's your official stance on the border. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Robert.
What's
your prediction this weekend?
As far as Canelo, I think he'll win on a decision. But, a lot of people are not going to buy this fight because
you're buying it.
$90 in P.
You're buying it.
Yeah, you buying this?
Everybody knows. No. No.
That's a fucking lie. Oh my God. You're lying again. You're buying this. Mrs. Herrick told me.
Give me a break, Joe. Eric, did you get a hold of DirecTV?
Not yet, but it's on my list of things to do.
I mean, please, let's not negotiate DirecTV on live on the air. You can do that afterwards.
Did you hear what they did?
I can't stand DirecTV. I can't stand DirecTV.
They have I guess Disney pulled their stuff off of there. So Disney said, you know how they negotiate every so often or whatever. Anyway, they couldn't come to terms. Disney pulled all their stuff off of there, including ABC and ESPN, all the Disney stuff off of DirecTV.
Ridiculous.
So, like, you have no local ABC now on DirecTV.
Yep.
Robbie, can I ask you a question? Are you in an area where you have to have a satellite dish, or could you get cable?
No, I could get cable if I wanted to, but I
you get DirecTV sucks.
Oh,
why you still get
No,
DirecTV?
I've been a customer there for over 20 years. No, I've not had any trouble with them until now. You know.
Listen, I had DirecTV for 5 years a while ago, and they're always taking channels off the lineup.
That's something Beeb does not tolerate.
They can't get their shit straight with these channels.
There you go.
It's always a problem.
We're gonna get running here. I'm gonna put you back on hold. Stop it. What's the matter with you? Get him out of here. All right, 410 Baltimore, where I am king. Go ahead.
Hi, Jerry.
Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. How are you, Jerry?
Well, both of our teams lost this week, Jerry, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, we lost to the Super Bowl champs, though.
Did you, though? Because it's a different team than the Super Bowl champs, wasn't it? Way different team. No receivers on that. What Rice? They have Rice on that Kansas City squad. That's it. That's their only receiver. And what happened to Lamar? Couldn't do squat.
The defending Super Bowl champion. Yeah, he was shit.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest.
Hey, you
Lamar
listen, a
fan.
loss is a loss.
Lamar
son. Loss is a loss.
Lamar can beat the crap out of teams like Cleveland and Cincinnati and Texans. He can beat the crap out of them teams. He just
except when he gets to the playoffs and
Kansas
chokes and just tanks that whole squad. How does he become? I don't understand. That's what I don't understand. And like, you know what? Did you heard the Dak Prescott thing where he got all this money? Like, these guys get to the playoffs and just melt down. I don't understand it. And they get all this money. I don't get it. Don't get it at all.
Well, it's better than getting all this money and not even playing the season because you're injured, like your quarterback.
Or like Ray Rice wasn't he from Baltimore too?
Did he make it?
Wasn't he from Baltimore too? The guy that
game?
No, he made it to the Super Bowl, son. That's where he made it to. Has Lamar even been? Has he been in a Super Bowl? He hasn't even been there. All right, what's your prediction on Canelo? We gotta move here.
Where he choked?
He choked? He choked. Give me a break.
I think I just heard Dweeb say a minute ago that Canelo's the type of guy that if you leave him alone, he'll leave you alone. Are you kidding me, man?
Yeah.
It's these type of things when you say these type of things. Do you watch the guy fight?
Why didn't he knock out Munguia?
Why did he knock out Munguia?
Why didn't he knock out Charlo?
When he fought.
Why didn't he knock out Charlo? Why didn't he knock out Munguia? Why didn't he knock out Ryder? Why didn't he knock out Ryder?
Okay, you gonna let me talk, or you gonna talk? I can tell you all.
I'd much rather listen to you.
You can talk if you want. I'd rather listen to my own voice than listen to you. If you want me to be honest.
He was walking him down and headhunting the whole night. He couldn't get to Charlo because Charlo ran and he held. Against Munguia, Munguia's an athletic guy. He was in there. He was fighting hard. He went the distance. Canelo is not the type of guy that will leave you alone. That's the last thing he is.
He throws 400 punches a fight. He throws 400 punches a fight. He's not extending himself anymore, Jerry. Look at the punch stats.
He's not the type of guy to leave you alone. You're
He's throwing one punch at a time. He's not going after these guys like he did when he was younger. Come on.
Well,
you can't see a dip.
I didn't say that.
You can't see a dip from Canelo 5 years ago and Canelo now? You can't see a difference?
Well, of course, that's any fighter. I've seen Canelo go after Charlo the entire fight. Same thing with Babal. He tried to go after Babal. He was throwing big shots, loading up.
He's throwing one punch at a time now, Jerry. He's throwing one punch at a time.
Whatever.
He's a Canelo fan, man. What are you going to do? He's a Canelo fan. He is.
If you keep coming with it, the guy is not you're talking about Shakur Stevenson and some passive counter puncher. That's not what Canelo is. He's a boxer puncher. Yes, he can counter punch good, but he fights on the front foot almost exclusively. Whether his punch output has dropped over the years or not, he's not the type of guy to be leaving people alone.
You don't think he could have got Munguia out of there?
No. No, I don't. He tried. He hit him with a vicious uppercut that knocked him down, and he was throwing mad follow-up punches to try to get him. But you got to give him Jaime Munguia credit. He was able to hang tough, just like our Ryder was.
Does this
Ryder
fight go the distance, Jerry?
A lot of fighters wouldn't have took that.
Stop it.
Jerry, does this fight go the distance?
A lot of fighters wouldn't have took that beating.
Cut to the chase. Does this fight go the distance? Yes or no?
No, I don't think this one does. No.
Right.
Fair enough.
I think Berlanga will do a little better than what people think, but by the 6th round, I think the magnitude of the moment and the fact that Canelo is far more skilled, I just think Canelo gets him somewhere between the 6th and the 12th. Probably a TKO, could be a standing TKO type of thing.
Somewhere between the 1st and the 12th round, he's going to get him out of there.
Between the 6th and the 12th, that's like a 6-round stretch.
Okay, so
it'll slow out in between December and February 10th. I mean, it's like winter time. It's gonna snow.
It's winter time. Yeah, I think it's competitive. I think it's competitive for about the first 3 rounds.
A statement that says Canelo's the type of guy that'll leave you alone if you leave him alone.
He's not going to go. He doesn't chase guys. He doesn't chase guys and hunt them down. He doesn't. That's not how he fights. He's a counter puncher.
That's all he does.
He's a counter puncher.
That's all he does. Yeah, you just proved to me.
You must be watching the video game version of him then, because that's not how he fights in real life. You're watching the video. You're watching the video game version of him. That's not how he fights in real life.
Okay.
All right, Jerry. We're gonna get running here, man. We're going to get running here. We need to
get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Give him the hook. Beebs give everybody the hook today, man.
He's polluting the airwaves. Get him out of here.
Stop it.
He's polluting the show up.
Stop it. What's the matter with you? 773, Chicago, you're live.
Hey, what's up, fellas? So, yeah, man, just to touch on the topic, I think Canelo stops Berlanga probably in the championship round. I think he stops him. I think he's going to soften him up by then to the body. I think by then we could see Berlanga take a knee. I could see that happening. Maybe even take 2 before he actually somebody steps in or the rep calls it. So I got a championship round stoppage for Canelo.
Okay.
After that, I would like to see Canelo either give us the Benavidez fight or go up 175 and fight the Bivol. Better be a winner. And then think about hanging him up. There ain't really much else for him to do after that.
Okay, so let me ask you. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So let me ask you a question. Okay, so you said you want to see him go and fight Bivol or Better Beef or Benavidez. You want to see one of those 3. Does he beat any of those guys? I mean, does he come close to beating either one of those guys? Any of those guys?
Yeah, Benavidez. He can beat Benavidez.
You think he can beat Benavidez?
Of course, we already saw. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that think so. I don't think so, but there's a lot of people. Yeah.
D-Style thinks Calix and D-Style thinks Benavidez will lose too.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Ring IQ. He's another guy thinks Benavidez will lose.
The thing. Hey, anything can happen, right? But the thing with Benavidez is he has that. Him and Munguia have the similar style, but Benavidez has crafted it better. He's come forward, punches and bunches. He's got the size. He's got power. However, he's going to have him leaving himself open when he's doing that, and Canelo's going to catch him. He's going to counter him, and when he places those shots, he places them with power. He has good punch placement, and when he hits those ribs and he starts tapping those ribs over the rounds, Benavidez is going to feel it. His volume is going to decrease as the fight goes on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then we'll see what Benavidez is made of going down the stretch.
See,
when it comes to Better Beef, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I thought Benavidez, after seeing the Bivol fight especially, I just think Benavidez is just too big for him. And I think Bivol was too big for him. Bivol is too big, and he's also too skilled. Better Beef is probably too big for him too. Yeah, but
right. So, but that's my thing though, right? If he's from a legacy standpoint, hey, go out like that, man. You want to go out and his legacy is already solidified to begin with. But to further it, go up to 175, get the Better Be a Bivol winner. Let's see what happens. I mean, you get your rematch with Bivol, or you fight Better Be of the fucking 100% KO king.
Right. Yeah. 175.
Right. And not only that, Better Be is already approaching 40, bro. So that's in his favor. Canelo's favor. So we'll see what happens. But to me, that's where I see the doors for him to go to walk through. Outside of that, and Billy's gonna, he's an entertaining. It'll be an entertaining short fight. That's who's at 168 for Canelo. I guess I wouldn't mind seeing. But other than that, where's he going to go?
Yeah, you got a point, man.
To me, that's where he's got to go. And then you guys, just to touch on Boots, you guys were talking about Boots earlier. Eddie Hearns, the last statement I saw from him, he wants Boots to unify, become undisputed at 147.
Yeah.
And looking at who's at 147, he can do that. We're going to 154. Does he have 154 pound frame? Of course he does. Does he have the size? Yes, he does. He's got the skills, the talent, all that good stuff. I would love to see him with a lot of guys at 154. But I would currently, if that's their plan, I have no issue with that. Stay at 154, work on your own legacy. Do you go ahead and become undisputed, and then climb up to 154? You got Zoo up there. You got Ortiz up there. I don't know if Bud's going to be hanging around by then. Bud's looking to cash out too. He's already did what he had to do. And there was a guy, I saw that comment in the section saying, Bud ain't done shit, or who does he have? His resume's weak, some bullshit. No, when you become undisputed at two different weight classes, especially in an era like this where everything's divisive, you got your network contracts, promoters, blah, blah, blah. No, Bud is solidified. His legacy secure. So I don't want to hear any of that shit. Him fighting Canelo would just be a money fight for both guys, for both of them to walk out.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean? It's just a big money fight.
That's a big money fight.
But that's
too.
where I stand, guys, on the top. Yeah, hell yeah. It's a damn good fight. It'll generate eyeballs. It'll generate attention.
Yeah, I believe it too.
That's where I stand on that, and I'm looking forward to these fall fights. I got Usyk again. I got him outclassing. I wouldn't say outclassing. I think he still has a rough time with Fury, but I think he beats Fury again. So, Inoue's the man. Man, that's one bad motherfucker right there, man. I would love to see a heavyweight Inoue.
That would be something, man. I'll tell you what. Yeah, last one we had was Mike Tyson, I think. Yeah.
He's fucking nasty.
He is, man.
But hey, that dude, he is fucking nasty. I don't know what else to say about Inoue, man. I mean, him at featherweight, we'll see. You know, you can only go so far. So I think he would cap out at featherweight if he decides to go that way. I think he caps out at 126. So
there you go.
But that's my call, fellas. I know got other people on the line, but I appreciate your time. I appreciate the show, and I thank you guys for everything you do.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. That
yes, sir.
is what a call is supposed to sound like, guys. If you guys are listening, that is what a call is supposed to sound like. Good stuff, man, from Chicago. All right. So, Beeb, let's talk about this. Jamal Charlo gets a DWI after crashing his Lamborghini. Was written in TMZ. Star boxer Jamal Charlo has been formally hit with a DWI charge, driving while intoxicated, following the allegations he drunkenly crashed his Lamborghini in Texas back in May. Charges were filed and misdemeanor counts against Charlo. Nothing's going to happen here, but man, they've had a lot of issues over there with those two lately, man. Just somebody needs to sit down with them, get them back in the gym, or get them some help, something, man, because they've always had that edge to them where they can't control themselves. It seems like every time there's always fights, they're always around. You know, whether it's Caleb Plant slapping them in the back, or in the back of the stage area, or them guys fighting outside by the ringside. It's like, come on, man. Let's get it together, man. And the people around you, where are they right now? Where are your managers right now? Where are your people right now? Where's your family right now, man? Come on. Get in there, man. Let them know. Tim Tszyu versus Bakram Murtazaliev for the IBF Super Welterweight title is set for October 19th. Are you surprised Tim Tszyu's getting a title shot so quickly after that loss?
No, because it was a fight that was close. It was competitive, and the circumstances surrounding that fight, I think people realize that he just, if he's not going to get an immediate rematch with him, he deserves a title. I think it's fair to get a title shot.
Why on earth did they not have a rematch clause for that fight?
There's a lot of things that I can ask questions about. Why did you not pull? Why didn't you pull him out of there? And tell the doctor to look at the cut. Yeah, right. I keep going back to that Mikey Garcia incident when he fought Salido, and Salido headbutted him in the nose and broke his nose. And Robert kept saying, hey, every round. Look at the nose, look at the nose, look at the nose. And he's like, and then he at one point said, I can't stop the bleeding. And then the fight was stopped and it went to the cards.
Yeah. And why that didn't happen here, who knows? So let's see here. Golden Boy and Turkey Al-Sheikh are giving a card away. A Latino night card. Do you know anything about this? Because it was, I
heard about it, but I haven't really
so
researched it that much.
Let me give you the card here. Latino night is going to go in free. It's by Oscar De La Hoya, and Turkey Al-Sheikh is going to be in there, I guess, promoting as well. So they're going to call it Latino night, and they were not going to put this on pay-per-view. This is going to be just a free card on DAZN or wherever. So the headliner, it says the card set should be finalized. Gilbert Zerto Ramirez versus Chris Billiam Smith. William Zepeda versus George Kambosos Jr. Jose Carlos Ramirez versus Arnold Barboza. Is this really a pay-per-view card? No, right?
Not from my estimation.
I mean, for real, like, is that a pay-per-view card? Gilberto Zerto Ramirez? I mean,
not my estimation.
Smith, really? That's a pay-per-view card? Of course that's going to be free. You know why it's going to be? Because it's not that great of a card. It's a solid card. It's a solid free card, but it's not a pay-per-view worthy card,
I agree.
Don't understand it. Beeb, do you want to explain yourself real quick on what do you mean he's because Canelo does come forward. I get that, but you say he's a counter puncher. For me, it's kind of like when he hurts you. We've all seen the fights where a guy gets you, where it looks like a sparring session toward the end of the fight.
He coasts.
I see him. Doesn't matter if he's coming forward. Doesn't matter what he's doing.
When he's coming forward, he's like,
that's what he's saying.
He'll edge forward and then he'll just stop and he'll just try to draw you into a trap.
Right.
It's not like he's not a freaking Chavez or Roberto. He's not a pressure fighter.
No.
Fights at a very methodical, slow pace. He doesn't really press the action. It's my opinion.
There you go. We can answer this question next week.
Why can't we put him in the same sentence as Julio Cesar Chavez? They're both great fighters.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next week.
Why can't you do that?
But are they? Are they in the same class as Canelo?
I think Chavez is a better fighter all around. Well, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Canelo has more accomplishments than Chavez, but Chavez he went 80-0 at one point. Yeah,
he fought, and I don't care who he fought. I don't care who he fought.
He fought a lot of great fighters. In my opinion, I would put Chavez ahead of. Well, I don't know. It's tough.
It's tough, right? It is tough because you look at the whole body of work. I wonder in Mexico. What would they do?
I think Chavez would be ahead. I think Chavez would be put ahead of Canelo in Mexico.
Is he higher? Is he ahead of Ricardo Lopez and is he ahead of Salvador Sanchez?
You could argue Chavez is the best. You could argue he's the best Mexican fighter of all time because of the long, not only the accomplishments, but the level of opposition, but the longevity.
89-0 before he lost to Frankie Randall.
A lot of great fighters.
His only blemish was Pernell Whitaker.
Meldrick Taylor, Pernell Whitaker.
Then he went on another. So then he fought Frankie Randall, and that's where it ended.
Frankie Randall fought a lot of great guys, a lot of champions.
Yeah,
how many champions he fought?
Yeah. And the rumor has it, one of Aaron Pryor's people told me that he didn't want to fight Aaron Pryor, but that was his only. That's
Chavez Senior's. I'd have to put Chavez Senior against over Canelo.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like I said, they're two different fighters, two different times, and two different weight classes. But yeah, I think Chavez would. I'd be really interested to hear the Mexican side what they think in Mexico about Chavez. Maybe we could ask Chakal. I don't know.
Go back and watch the Golovkin fight. Go back and watch the Charlo fight. Go back and watch the Munguia fight. He did not put his foot on the gas. He coasted. He's throwing like 390 punches a fight now. He's throwing 10 punches a round. He's coasting now. He's towards the end of his career. He's not overextending himself anymore. Same thing when Floyd. Look at Floyd when he was younger, and then look as he got older. He started coasting, started just winning decisions. Fighters get to that stage where they say to themselves, I'm in the twilight of my career. I'm not going to overextend myself. I'm just going to do enough to win fights. And if you could do that, not put yourself in harm's way, not put yourself at risk of getting injured, then they coast. He coasts. When he knows he's winning, and he knows he's ahead, and he knows he doesn't have to go over the top to win, he's not going to extend himself. He coasts. He's not a volume guy. He's not a pressure fighter. He's not a seek and destroy guy. He's just not that. He's not this swarmer type fighter that you guys are trying to portray him as. At least I think that.
Not anymore. Not anymore. He's not.
No, he's when fighters get older, they lose a little bit of that oomph. Paulie Maldonado, so many fighters have said this. When you get older, you say to yourself, do I really want to push the envelope here?
Yeah.
Same thing with Hopkins. He was the executioner. Then when he got older, what did he do? He started coasting in fights. Started slowing the pace down, grabbing guys, holding them, looking for the ref to break them. That's what happens when you get older. The guy's been fighting for over 20 years. He's been fighting since he's 15 years old. This guy's got a 20-year career. He's not hitting the gas pedal and pushing it to the edge like he used to do before when he was younger. Just being honest.
Tony Boswell, thank you so much, man. He just became a member. Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. Thank you so much. Let's see here.
I meant to say he's landing 10 punches around. Excuse me.
King KO says that Chavez fought a lot of Mexican janitors. Listen, he fought a lot of guys that probably shouldn't have been in there. But there's a reason that he fought him. He fought him in Mexico because a lot of those guys couldn't come to his bigger fights. So he would fight these guys in smaller venues, affordable venues, and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what that did is it kept him busy. It kept him busy. And that's why he was able to, again, because he was always ready. He was never out of shape. He was always ready.
The average super middleweight in boxing throws roughly 630 punches a round. Excuse me, a fight. He's throwing 390, 400 punches a fight. He's well below the average of punches thrown in a fight. He's not extending himself. He's not pushing the pace. He's landing 8 to 10 punches a round. Why is that? Is that a guy who's putting on a lot of pressure? Let's just be honest, bro.
There you go. Well, we'll talk about that fight. That fight next week. We'll give you the lowdown on that. Like I said, we both think. I think everybody thinks Canelo is going to win. I haven't had anybody who said Berlanga is going to win. No, I haven't had anybody pick Berlanga.
No one's picking Berlanga.
No, I don't think so either. So there you go. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. You can find me on X at ringside73. And guys, we will catch you next week.